Good morning to you and welcome back to the Morning Minute Meditation. Thank you for joining me today and happy Independence Day. I hope you have a great one and celebrate the birthday of our country. I'd like to give you a verse, Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 18. Of the rock that begat thee, thou art unmindful and hast forgotten the God that formed thee. This is God writing to the children of Israel through his penman Moses about the fact that the children of Israel had forgotten their foundation and forgotten their formation. And if anything could be said of a truth, we have forgotten the rock that formed us here in the United States of America. We've forgotten our history. After the Revolution, there was a constitutional convention, and things were not going very well at all. As a matter of fact, there were some delegates that had already left the convention mad and angry and had already relegated in their own minds that this thing was not going to work. Alexander Hamilton, George Mason were among those that had already left the convention. It was then that an 81-year-old Benjamin Franklin stood to his feet and made a famous speech. Now, in consideration of this speech, I want to talk about Ben Franklin for just a minute. Ben Franklin was not a Christian. We cannot find any record of his profession of faith in Christ. He was intrigued with the preaching of George Whitefield and counted him a friend and had published some of the writings of George Whitefield and some of his sermons. But here is Ben Franklin, not a Christian, 81 years old. That's an old man today, but it was an extremely old man then because the age of mortality for men was in the 30s. And so here's Ben Franklin. He stands to his feet. Everyone is on edge. Many men are angry. They do not believe that this is going to come together, and the fate of our nation rests upon what comes out of the Constitutional Convention. Franklin stood, and here's what he said. This is June the 28th, 1777. How has it happened, sir, that we have not hitherto once thought of humbly applying to the Father of lights to illuminate our understanding? Have we now forgotten this powerful friend? Or do we imagine that we no longer need his assistance? If a sparrow cannot fall to the ground without his notice, is it probable that an empire can rise without his aid? In that speech, and I just gave you an excerpt from it, the speech was about 14 sentences. And in those 14 sentences, there were at least 14 inferences to the scriptures, God's holy word. God's holy word has had a major part in the beginning of this country. And when we kicked it out many years ago, we have started a downward spiral ever since. May I say to our country, let's get back to the moorings of our foundation, and that is the word of the living God. Hey, I hope you have a great day, and may God bless you. Think on these things today, and we'll see you later on in the week.